I have been so sick literally this whole week. We are in the 4-month sleep regression right now. I was getting really anxious about the fact that I couldn't get a letdown because the feeling of it was just taking me back to that stage with Vivian. Hello you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to today's sick day in my life. I have been so sick literally this whole week and praise God my kids haven't gotten it, my husband hasn't gotten it. I don't know how because usually it's like the other way around, but this time I'm the one that's been down. It's been like congestion, sore throat, cough. Thankfully I am on the mend. You guys are just gonna have to deal with my congested voice today. I have been on my hydration grind this past week. I am currently drinking liquid IV. I bought like a big package of it back in the fall because we don't have it in Canada and I haven't drank it since birth. And then remembered that I had it this past week because I started to notice like an impact on my supply when I was sick, and I'll get into all of that in this video, but I've been loving that. And then I had to show you guys this drink. I've also been drinking this and none of this is sponsored. I just am obsessed with like good hydration drinks that have like electrolytes and not a lot of sugar. So this is called Roar Organic. It is so good. It's got electrolytes, vitamin B5, A, C, B12, E, B6, coconut water, so super hydrating for breastfeeding. And then I also think it's 2 grams of sugar for the whole bottle. So I've just been drinking and trying to like keep fluids up, trying to keep breastfeeding going strong, and so far so good. This vlog is very much going to feel like we are on FaceTime together all day. I also am excited to be working with KiwiCo on this video. So if you want to hear a special offer that they have for viewers of my channel, then just keep on watching. Thank you, honey. You have some snacks for me? Thank you. The start to this day has just felt a lot more chaotic than normal because I ended up sleeping in a little bit longer just to like try and feel better, and then I got ready slowly for the day. So Jared brought the kids out, did breakfast, clean up, all that stuff, which I'm so grateful for. But most of the things that I usually do to get my day going, I have not done yet. So dishwasher is still full, still got to figure out the laundry. I have not had any coffee in me yet today, which is honestly probably a good thing. But Jared just texted me a minute ago that he forgot to bring the garbage out, which in our household that is his thing and I got no shame in that, but he forgot to bring it out. So I just lugged like 10,000 pounds of diapers to the curb, and this morning has just been a little bit different than normal.
Oh, blue.
The blue one.
Blue.
Oh, that is a balloon. Who drew that balloon?
Daddy.
Daddy drew that. It's a nice picture. My hands have literally been so dry this winter, you guys. I don't know if it's like because of postpartum, and I think it is like more eczema. If any of you guys have noticed that, like since you've had babies, let me know, because I feel like I've tried every cream. I did try hydrocortisone, but I found that it just like didn't help, and I also don't want to become reliant on it. So I'm probably just gonna go and see like a naturopath and find like a more holistic approach, because it has been so painful to do just like basic household tasks, and I need to figure this out. So if you guys have any like good natural solutions that you found, let me know. I don't have a ton of dairy in my diet because I am lactose intolerant, and also just because it seems to bother Jude's stomach as well. So I know a lot of people say that it could be from that, but I don't think that's what it is in my case. Maybe I think Jude's awake. Go and get him and maybe he'll come color with us. Hi, honey bunny. Good morning. Good morning. Walked away for 2 seconds and came back to this. This is truly the definition of second child life. So while Viv is eating lunch, I'm gonna get dinner ready. I have this sirloin tip roast that I have forgotten has been in the freezer for so long, and I finally defrosted it in time. So I'm going to throw it in the crock pot because I just like the way that it falls apart that way. So I'm gonna cut up some potatoes and some carrots and then make like a little sauce to throw in there with it. So I just did a very rough chop on some carrots. And then for the sirloin roast, before I like add the sauce into the crock pot, I am going to put a mixture of spices on it, and then I'm gonna brown it in the pan with some olive oil. I find that that just like traps the flavor in really nicely before it goes into the crock pot. I just had to step away for a minute because I heard Jude was crying in the bedroom, so I went to put him back down. And when I came back out, Viv had dumped all the milk from her lunch onto her plate and told me that she was also cooking. We got our paprika.
Paprika.
garlic powder, onion powder, and then I'm also gonna add some salt and pepper. All right, while the pan is heating up, I'm also going to rough chop some onion, and then I'm gonna cube some butter to throw into the crock pot as well. Okay, before you guys say it, I'm aware I need a bigger crock pot than the one that we have. I just never got another one after Jared and I got married, but now that we have kids and we're feeding more people, I know I need a bigger one. I'm kind of just following my heart when it comes to the sauce. There's a cup and a half of beef broth in here, a couple of tablespoons of soy sauce and ketchup because I didn't have any Worcestershire sauce. And then there's also apple cider vinegar in here. And then while you weren't looking, I also added parsley flakes and garlic into the crock pot. Welcome to the lunch break with me and Jude. I just got Viv down for her nap and I'm so relieved because I don't hear anything in there, and she has been fighting her nap, like I mentioned in my last video, for at least 2 weeks now. So I think out of like 14 or something naps that I've offered, she's only taken 2 of them, and I don't personally feel like she's ready because by the time we've gotten to the evening, it just has not been good. And I'm just so relieved because last night it wasn't until 9 p.m. that she actually fell asleep because she was so overtired. So praise God for silence in there right now. I'm really hoping that this is the end of the like 18-month nap regression because it's been a doozy. Jude is currently playing with tissue paper. Both of my kids have loved to play with tissue paper, so I always save it whenever I open a package that has it because they love hearing all the noises. But anyway, I'm about to have some leftover pasta for lunch. I just got off the phone with Jared, who called me because he wanted to update me on 2 things. The first being that he's taking Vivian to a princess party on Saturday, which is fun. And that he also just got us tickets to see John Mayer in March, I believe, which is really exciting because we are a John Mayer family. That was one of the first things that Jared and I connected on when we started dating, is that we both love John Mayer and we both had the same like favorite song by John Mayer, which was so funny. And it wasn't even like Daughters or Waiting on the World to Change or one of the more like super mainstream ones. It was more of like the niche ones. And so we knew that we were made for each other. But we are going to be seeing him in the spring, which is really exciting. And that will be my first concert in years. I honestly can't even think back to the last time I would have been to a concert. It probably was John Mayer a couple of years ago, but since the pandemic, we just haven't really ever done that since then. So I'm really looking forward to that. As I mentioned, I did want to give you guys a little bit of an update for like the 3-4 month update. Technically Jude is closer to 4 months now, but I feel like all of these updates will kind of roll in with the 3-month one as well. And then the same with Viv, because I haven't given you guys a formal update on her in a really long time, which has also been intentional, but I wanted to give you guys like just a really general 18-month update. She is 19 months now, but I feel like most of the updates are not really anything like significantly different from 18 months. So 3-month and 18-month is what I'm gonna go with. There will be baby babbling in the background because Jude is playing over here and is working on like extending his arms. And I am also just gonna be sniffling and coughing, and we're just gonna roll with it because that's how things are going today. Anyway, Jude is awesome. That's the update. The first update that I wanted to give you guys is that Jude has red hair, you guys. I don't know if you have noticed that in my like photos and videos. I feel like it doesn't pick up as noticeably like on camera as it does in real life, but his hair is strawberry blonde and it is so sweet. We knew that that could happen with any of our kids and honestly expected it to happen with Viv, so we were kind of shocked when she came out with dark hair. But Jared's mom has red hair and my grandma has red hair, so we both have the gene, knew it was in there. But Jude was born very pale and with a like light blonde looking hair, and so I kind of thought that that's how it would stay. But it's funny because Jared was born with this exact hair color, the like strawberry blonde look, but his hair didn't stay like that either. It ended up turning blonde and then it ended up turning like brown, and now it's like dark brown. So honestly, jury is still out on what his final hair color would be, but for right now it is a very sweet strawberry blonde and I love it so much. Oh my God. gosh. He is also very big for his age. So at 3 months, he is like 90th percentile for his height and his weight, and he's a very solid baby. He doesn't look like he's like chunky or anything. Like he doesn't even have rolls, but he's just like very heavy and solid when you pick him up, which was very similar to how Viv was, but she was always like a lot longer, and he's like just long and big in general. So we are growing out of things like crazy. I currently have him in mostly 6 to 9 months, and I'm purchasing like 9 to 12 for the next round. So I probably will never have a teeny tiny baby other than like for the first moment that they come out. And even then they're still like regular size babies, but there are lots of fun pros that come with big babies as well. So I am happy for that to be my lot in life. An update on the reflux and breastfeeding. So Jude still is a pukey kid. I honestly can't say that I found anything that really worked for that other than like sitting him upright after feedings and then time for the most part. I did find that the like baby Gaia, and I think that's how you say it, probiotics did help with some of the tummy troubles we were experiencing, especially with like gas and things like that. But he still does puke very often. I'm doing lots of laundry every day. However, it is not projectile anymore. I would say it's just like a minor inconvenience now. But in terms of breastfeeding, it's still been going really, really well. I honestly have not had any hiccups with it until this past week while I was sick. So it was really interesting because I was breastfeeding and everything was totally fine. And then one night for like the final feeding before bed, I could not get a letdown. And it was like at the peak of when I was feeling really fevered, really sick. So I kept trying, but he was just like really upset. It wasn't going well. So I ended up getting a bottle for him and trying to give him that and then getting him to latch when he calmed down. But even in between, like with a good latch, I was just like not getting a letdown. Put him down and then we'll do the dream feed and it will be totally fine. But later that night, I tried to feed him again, I think like around 1 a.m. because I don't think I ended up waking him up for a dream feed, and I could not get a letdown again. I was getting really anxious about the fact that I couldn't get a letdown because the feeling of it was just taking me back to that stage with Vivian where I was just like so overwhelmed with not being able to feed my child. And so I ended up talking to Jared about it because he kind of woke up. I was like, I feel so anxious right now. Like, I don't know why I can't get the milk to come. And he was like, honestly, it's gonna be okay. You're just sick right now. Like, we need to increase your fluids, work at eating a little bit more tomorrow. Everything's gonna be okay. And it was weird because I ended up just like settling Jude and I put him back down to sleep instead of doing a feeding. And then he ended up sleeping for another 2 hours, waking up, and then I was able to nurse again. So I don't know what happened in that, but needless to say, the next day I was really focusing on hydration and like getting good nutrients because obviously when you're sick, your body is working so hard to just protect you while also create breast milk at the same time. And so it was just a struggle, and I'm really grateful that it seems to be okay again now. Like, it's been 2 days since I had that incident happen, and I've been totally fine with breastfeeding. And honestly, his whole life has been really, really smooth with breastfeeding. In comparison to my first experience, it has been like night and day. So if there's anyone out there that has been having a hard time with breastfeeding, know that it may not be your situation forever. Could be totally different with another kid. I still feed him usually every 3 hours every day and also at night. So I feel like that has been the biggest thing that has helped my supply, is just the fact that like supply and demand, the demand is there, and so the supply has really been there, and I haven't really needed to do much in terms of like actually keeping it up with like supplements or different routines or things like that. I have not been pumping at all for probably like at least the last 6 weeks. I found that again, I was just perpetuating a lot of the oversupply that I had in the early stages, and now that I've got like such a strong freezer supply of milk as well, I've kind of just decided that like I don't need to have that extra step in my morning routine, and I've been very grateful to be in that position and have not been pumping anymore, have just been feeding on demand, and have had honestly a really great experience with breastfeeding this time. As I hinted, Jude is still not sleeping through the night, so I actually think that we are in the 4-month sleep regression right now, and it's a little bit harder to tell this time because it has been less of like a night and day transition than it was with Viv. With her, she was already sleeping through the night by the time that we got to 4 months and had been for a couple of weeks. So when the regression happened, it was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? But with Jude this time, it's like, I'm already tired, so like, let's go for it. I will say that he was doing like 4 and 5 hour stretches the 5-hour stretch was one time, so I'm not gonna make it sound like that was happening often. But he was doing like 4-hour stretches pretty consistently before the last week or so. And then he just started having a really hard time going to bed at night. Bedtime would be like 3 hours long for us because I would try and put him down at 7, and then Jared and I would just be in and out of the room like every 10 minutes, basically until 10 o'clock, just like resettling him. So I basically have been re-referencing a lot of the taking care of babies content, especially for like the 3 and 4 month transition. There was one night that I put him down right at 7 and he slept right through until 10:30 without any intervention. So that was like, thank you God, like we are getting to the other side of this thing. But he still is waking up to feed quite a bit through the night. So that's like the next thing that we're trying to figure out, how we want to tackle it, if we want to tackle it right now, because I am right beside him and we don't have plans to move him into his own room yet, because I am still planning on putting him and Viv together. But now that I'm like 2 months away from that, I'm like, is that really what I want to do? I don't know. So I'm still planning on doing that, but for right now, it's so hard to not feed them back to sleep, because when they're right beside you, I could just give you the boob and you would be out. A lot of the times that's just realistically what happens. So still quite a few wakings. I have not personally slept longer than a 4-hour stretch in almost 4 months. My body is just like doing its best to keep going, but it is hard to go this long without like good solid sleep. So anyway, that's where we are. And I would share more about what we're doing in terms of like going back in and coaching him back to sleep, but because it is part of the taking care of babies content, I don't want to come on here and just like share all of that, because that's like super shady. So I would definitely encourage you guys to go and check that out. I believe it's called Navigating Months 3 and 4, at least that's like what the guide that we have is called, and it has been really helpful for us. So we are just night by night walking through all of the different steps in that and trying to get this baby to sleep. For Viv, I wanted to give you guys a bit of an 18-month update and then just share a little bit more in terms of like what my plans are going forward, especially on my channel, because I mentioned this when she was like 7 months old, but Jared and I have agreed that like as she gets older, she'll have less of a role in my content. You'll still see her in my videos and in my content once in a while. I want you guys to expect to see me, and then for it to be like a pleasant surprise if you get to see a kid here and there. So that's just kind of the approach that Jared and I are going to take. And I'm not necessarily going to sit down and do like 24-month update, 3-year-old update, but the last kind of update that I'll give is just like a quick 18-month one, because I feel like that is like a good final toddler update to give, and it goes really well with the 18-month regression that we are also in right now. So she has been going to bed at 7 p.m. every single night and sleeping for 12 hours straight for like the last year. We have been so blessed in the sleep category with her, especially with naps too. Like I would be getting 2 to 3 hour naps every single day. Up until the last like 2 weeks, I would say. She is over 19 months now, so I feel like it's not necessarily late for the 18-month regression, but we had passed 18 months, so I just kind of figured we were in the clear. However, she is still going to bed on time and not waking up through the night, but she is now fighting those naps. So this is the first nap in a couple of days I've been able to get her to take, but for the most part, we have been very blessed with her sleep, and that has been amazing with the introduction of a second child, because I haven't had to worry about like waking up and going into both of their rooms at night. That has literally only happened one time in the 4 months that Jude has been here. So we have been very grateful for that. And I'm happy to report that baby-led weaning was a really great decision for our family. So we started that at 6 months and tried to introduce a variety of foods and textures and spices. And I feel like that really set her up for success, because she still loves to eat. We have dealt with a little bit of toddler pickiness, but for the most part, she'll still eat most of the things that are put in front of her. And so that has been a really huge benefit of doing baby-led weaning as well. It has been so cool to see her just grow and become her own person in the last couple of months. She is now speaking forward sentences, which is insane. She just has like the most incredible vocabulary, and it's been a lot of fun because I feel like I'm actually able to have conversation with her, and she's able to vocalize her needs and her wants and her frustrations. She knows her shapes, she can match colors, she can spell the first 4 letters of her name, she can count. It's just been really cool to see all of these things that we have been working on with her for so long start to come to fruition. All of these things that we've been doing together are like being absorbed, and you're now able to communicate back to me a lot of what you've learned. And so I have just been absolutely loving the 18-month stage. I feel like it is the best stage that I have experienced so far, and I loved the baby stage too. So I think that I'm just going to continue to love it as she gets older and older, because now that her personality is coming through and really shining, it it is just such a delight to be her mom. After my last video, I actually got a lot of messages about her language and how she's able to communicate so well for her age. So I think I might actually sit down and do a video on that, because there are a number of things that I have tried to do over her entire life, but also just more recently. If you guys want to see more on that like toddler development and language side of things, then definitely let me know. In that vein of early childhood development, I'm super excited to tell you guys about today's sponsor, because they have created a perfect product for that, and that is KiwiCo. KiwiCo's Panda Crates are designed for infants and toddlers from 0 to 24 months, and they are all Montessori inspired. So they promote hands-on learning, self-directed activity, and collaborative play. Panda Crate deliveries happen every other month, and each crate contains products and information for that 2-month stage of your infant or toddler's development. Our kids got Panda Crates back in December and have been absolutely loving playing with them. Jude has the Bond With Me crate, which is all about parent and infant bonding, and has products in there that are all really designed for visual development and understanding your baby's cues. Our absolute fave item in that kit is the tummy time mirror. It is the best tummy time mirror on the market, because a lot of the time newborns don't love tummy time, and this product makes it super engaging for them. There's a little slot for you to actually put in black and white visual cards so that you can promote that visual development, but you can also kind of lay it on its side and have it be like an accordion view, or you can set it up in a little propped up triangle, which is really nice if you want them to actually be looking into the mirror. But there's also a lot of really other fun products for those first couple of weeks, like a swaddle that it comes with, a milestone pillow that lets you take a photo of your baby kind of each month as they get older, so that you can document that journey as well. For Viv, we have the 19 to 24 month crate, which is the Solve With Me crate, and this one is all about shape recognition, puzzle play, and problem solving. What I really love about this crate specifically is that it is setting a lot of that like foundational understanding for math. So all of these crates are very STEM focused in a Montessori like inspired way. Purposeful play has always been very important to me, and so that's why I love the KiwiCo Panda Crates, because it takes the guesswork out of figuring out what is research back and developmentally appropriate for your children to be playing with. So if you are expecting or know someone that is, a Panda Crate could be a super great gift to them or to yourself, and KiwiCo has been generous enough to give me a unique discount code for you guys. So if you use the code BETH, you can get 50% off of your first month of a Panda Crate subscription, and they've given me a URL for that as well. So I will put that in the description box and in the comment section. And again, the unique code for that is BETH to save 50% off of your first month with the Panda Crate. Definitely let me know if you guys check them out, and thank you so much to KiwiCo for working with me on today's video. Okay, so we are going on at least hour 2 of Viv's nap, and I'm super happy about that, but I'm feeling like too tired right now and still like sick to do like a full load of laundry and folding or like vacuuming or mopping or anything like that. So I want to just do something that I can get done that feels a little bit like easier and I can just kind of chill with. One thing about me is that I don't really rest well by like sitting down and watching a show. I don't know, I've never been that way. It's a blessing and a curse of like who I am as a person, but I would much rather like get something done off my list, and I find that that feels more restful to me than like, I don't know, watching a show. So I have a couple of little like cleaning things that I want to show you guys that I'm going to be working on today. The first thing that I decided that I wanted to do was clean my wedding rings. So after I took my rings off from the eczema, I noticed that my ring was like dirty from baking and stuff. There was just stuff that was like kind of caked on it. So I've actually got it right now in a solution of just like Blue Dawn and hot water to kind of clean it off. But what I actually want to show you guys is what I'm going to try from KiwiCo. So I checked out what she had to say about cleaning tile grout, because there's a couple of spots on just the grout in our house that we're in now that are a little bit darker, and you can kind of see where it fades like into the lighter color. And so I want to see if I can just like lighten that up, and she had some good recommendations on what to do. And she just recommended hot water and then powdered Tide, but then the last thing that she recommended was bleach. And I don't usually like to clean with bleach. I find that it's just like too harsh. So I'm actually going to try white vinegar and see if I can get that to work. If it doesn't work, then that's totally fine. I've modified the recipe, so I can't have the same expectations, but I'm going to try this and let you guys know if it works, because if I can use something that's a little bit gentler, just with like little children being around in here, I would prefer to do that. And then I have this little toothbrush here that I'm going to use to see if I can lift that staining. Okay, so at first I was like, I don't know if this is doing anything, but look at that. That's like in a really dirty area versus like how it's lightened. So you can see some of the before and after here. That's like what it looked like when it started. And this is what it looks like now. So that mixture worked. Okay, so everybody is now awake and I'm just about to start making the rest of the potatoes and carrots for dinner, but I had to show you guys this new wrap that I just got from Solly. They sent over their original wrap in the shade Winsome Plaid, and is this not the most beautiful print of all time? They also gave me a discount code for you guys, and I believe it is active until February 28th. So if you want to save 15% off on our favorite carriers, then use the code BethGraceMoore15. 15% is a pretty good chunk, so if you want to check them out, be sure to use that code. Hello you guys, so it has actually been a couple of days since the last thing that I filmed. I didn't mean for this to turn into like a couple of days vlog, but I completely lost my voice the day that I was filming, and then yesterday had no voice at all. I'm starting to feel like almost 100% back to normal. It's just my voice at this point, so I really wanted to get out of the house today because it has been literally 4 days since I've left the house at all. Mostly because I've been sick, but also because it's been like -30 where we live right now, so it's just been way too cold. And because it's the weekend, Jared is going to be working on the basement basically all day today, so the house gets really loud. It's like sensory overload for the kids and I, so I decided to load them all up and get out of the house. I am going to treat myself today to like a good coffee setup. I got an espresso after I had Vivian. That was like my push present, and I'm out of pods right now, so I've just been doing French press, which is also good, but I decided I'm gonna go and get like good coffee syrup, good coffee pods, and like elevate my morning routine a little bit more to just have like something for me. So we're gonna go out and do that and just have a little bit of fun this morning. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this vlog. I wanted to remind you that if you wanted to check out the KiwiCo Panda Crates, that you can save 50% off of your first month if you use the code Beth at checkout, and the link for that is in the description box as well as in the comment section. So be sure to check that out. But until my next vlog, I love you guys, I'm praying for you guys, and I will see you soon.